Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to our first ever CodeSail Demo Day. For those of you who are not very familiar with what CodeSail is, we are an 8-week full-time intensive programming and entrepreneurship bootcamp. So that means that 8 weeks ago from today, we all met here for the first time in this class. And we've been coming back every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that means that our students have been exposed to over 300 hours of programming and entrepreneurship topics. We originally created CodeSail with the belief that everyone can learn to code if they're motivated and persistent, and our students have shown us that that is definitely the case. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them, but before we do, we're going to introduce ourselves. So my name is Alina Gribskov. I'm one of the co-founders of CodeSail, and before this, I was the program director at the Yale Entrepreneurial Institute, where I led the Student Startup Accelerator, the YEI Summer Fellowship, and started a series of educational workshops called Start Something at Yale. I also created and led the YEI Tech Bootcamp in 2013 and 14, which was the predecessor and the inspiration for CodeSail.
And I'm John Cadango. I was a summer fellow at YEI in 2012. Formerly, most recently, a software engineer at GetAround, a peer-to-peer car-sharing startup in San Francisco. I also worked on Doxa, which was a platform to match women to tech companies in Silicon Valley. And I also worked on Snapstacks and Dash, which were the two apps that I worked on at YEI.
We also have a third co-founder who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but her name is Tiffany Pang, and she was previously a software engineer at Instacart. She was also one of the co-founders of Doxa, and while she was at the Yale Entrepreneurial Institute as a founder, she started a company called Specially, which provided resources for parents of children with autism. So this course that our students have just been through has been very intensive, and is really based on 4 different components. The first is that it's project-based. So almost everything that we're doing in the course is based around an activity or a project that students are trying to create. So everything that they're learning, they're immediately putting into practice and driving forward ideas either that have been assigned or that they've generated themselves. It's also group-focused. So while we do have lectures, our students also spend most of their time working in teams. We taught them how to pair program, which we did a lot throughout the summer, which is when you're working with another student and talking through your ideas and brainstorming the coding solutions. But we also paired them in larger teams of 2 to 4 that you'll see today for their final projects. Another aspect of the course is that is very practical. So while we do cover some theoretical topics, they're usually in the service of telling you how or why to accomplish something that you're hoping to accomplish. And our students are learning command line and coding from the very first day that they're in the course. Finally, we also have an entrepreneurship and product development focus. We include lectures that teach students how to go from start to finish, how to take an idea and turn it into a real product, how to find customers for it, how to find users, how to actually design something that people want and need. So that's one of our major focuses in the course.
So we've covered a ton of topics, both technical and entrepreneurial. And for the technical topics, we learned the programming language Ruby, which is a highly expressive, easy to pick up language, but it's also very powerful. We also learned Ruby on Rails, which is a web application framework, and it's the basis for all of the projects that you'll see today. We learned a second programming language, JavaScript, which is for the user experience and user interface on any dynamic elements in a web page. We learned ReactJS, which is a framework for JavaScript, and you guys will see that in action today in the demos. We also covered HTML, CSS, that's how you make a web page. Git and GitHub, that's how you code collaboratively with large groups of engineers. Heroku to deploy to the cloud. And command line, that's the home base of every developer. On the entrepreneurship side, we tackled human-centered design, which is designing our products and engineering them for the people who actually use them. Lean Startup, a methodology to create products based on feedback and to continually improve your product over time. Customer discovery, where we actually interviewed and we had each of our groups go out to interview their customers and to discover what people need and what are their pain points. Minimum viable products, which we call MVPs, which is what you're going to see today in the demo, and how to work on a tech team. We spent a lot of time working in groups and seeing how the dynamics and different pairings of people could produce like really great effects and productivity. So to go over some things that we have built this summer, they made 2 midterm applications. So these are smaller, shorter projects with 2 people each. And 2 examples that we had were, one was someone created an app to find out who your elected representatives were in your district. So you would put in your address, and it would show you who your current representatives are, and it'd show you about upcoming elections. The second one was an app to make a circuit workout for you. So these are just 2 examples of things that our students made for their midterms, within about a week. And for the final projects, these are what you guys are going to see today. I'm extremely proud of every final project in every group. And these groups range from 2 people to 3 people each. They made full stack web applications, again, using Ruby on Rails, ReactJS, and different front-end frameworks like Skeleton or Bootstrap. They deployed these to the web. They're actually out there. Some are still being debugged, but you'll see that today. And they solve a real customer need or desire. And we're extremely proud about that they weren't just creating this to create it, but they wanted to help people solve an actual problem.
Our students are great, and you'll get a chance to meet each one of them. Here are a picture of our 10 awesome students, and they're from a very diverse set of backgrounds. There are majors, everything from computer science and computing and the arts to political science, statistics, art history, pre-med, and actually many of them, when they came into the program, had no prior programming experience. Some had taken 1 or 2 CS courses, and some, this was the first time they'd ever looked at command line or a terminal. We had a lot of Yale-affiliated students in this group, so 60% were current Yale students or just graduated, 20% were alumni, and then 20% were from other schools. We also had a really interesting dynamic, a very cool dynamic, because we had 70% women in this program, and if you're familiar with anything about the ratios in the tech industry as a whole, you'll know this is very unusual and very special, and we were excited to have this dynamic in the course this summer. They're also 100% excited to show you what they've built this summer, and we're going to get to that in just a second. I did want to say a special thank you to some of the organizations and people who have helped make this possible, to the Yale Entrepreneurial Institute for advising, helping to get the word out, and providing resources for our students post-course, to the Yale School of Management for the advice as we got off the ground, and also for connecting us with this beautiful room and space that we've been in all summer. To the Yale Information Technology Services for coming and speaking multiple times with our students about what careers are like in tech and how they develop for the university, as well as some of our individual speakers, April Coe, Jess Cole, David McPeak, Dan Bernier, and ClickFix for sharing their experiences and unvarnished advice and takeaways for our students. So at this point, our students are ready to go out and confidently and independently build their own web applications, so you'll see proof of that today. They're also excited to continue learning more, computer science classes or on their own. At this point, they also are ready to begin applying for software development or tech internships and entry-level positions. And they have the tools to launch their startups and projects, and you'll see that a lot of them plan to do that today with the ideas that they've started here. So with that, we are going to click over. Oh, there we go. Turn it over to our first team.
So this first team is called Wanderlocal. I want to say a short thing about them as they come to prepare, but I think they particularly impressed me because they combined equally creativity and technical prowess. So the ability to come up with both a creative or out-of-the-box innovative solution and also implement it and take that and engineer like a good sound, technically sound solution to that. And so I'm particularly proud of this group, and this is Wanderlocal.
Okay, so hi everyone. Thanks a lot for being here today. We're really proud of what we've built, even though it's just a minimum viable product. So I'm Sharon. I'm a rising senior at Yale.
I'm Ellis. I'm a rising sophomore at Yale.
And I'm Zoe, and I'm a rising sophomore at Yale.
And the project we've been working on for the past few weeks in this course is called Wanderlocal. So this is a travel app that matches locals to travelers. So the idea is that the traveler will be able to gain some type of authentic experience by doing an activity or a tour that the local has created and is really passionate about. And we worked on this project because we all realized that we had had different types of travel experiences, some good and some bad. So we had all been in experiences where we had felt like there was a huge disconnect between what we were doing in a place and what the local people were doing in a place. So this would be, for example, being in a tourist crowd with a lot of people where they were just taking pictures and not really interacting with what was going on around them. We had also all been in situations where we felt like we really connected to the place that we had gone. So, for example, I studied abroad in Peru in the fall, and I was in Cusco. And this is a huge tourist city because it was the center of the Incan Empire. And I became really frustrated because I could not go outside without immediately being profiled as a tourist because I look American and being asked to buy a souvenir or becoming engulfed in these giant tourist crowds. And I began comparing the experience I would have in public places with the type of experiences I would have with my host family. So, for example, cooking with my host mother and having my host brother who was 6 throw flour around the room and having her knead dough and be teaching me how to make an authentic dish. And another example is that my group went to the Amazon and we were going and living in different communities there. And there was one woman who taught us how to make fans while she was there. And she was really shy, but she was really excited to teach us this. Weaving was something she did all day and was really important to her and also to her community. So we all left that experience, first of all, remembering it really well and feeling like we had actually learned something about the place we were going instead of just passing through a place and taking pictures. So we all had experiences similar to what I just described. Mine was in Peru, Ellis's was in Thailand, and then Zoe in Costa Rica. And so we started working on this project. We ended up working really well together as a group, which was great. So all three of us got to work on all three aspects of our project. So that was product management, front end, which is what the user experiences when they use a website, and then back end, which is all the logic that goes into our web application. I worked a little bit more on product management and on front end.
And I spent a little bit more time working on the back end.
And then I spent my time pretty equally between front end and back end work.
So we began with the hypothesis that there are people who intentionally travel to avoid tourist activity. So what we did is we did customer interviews. So these were behavior driven, which meant that instead of choosing one demographic and focusing on that demographic, we chose people across demographics who liked to travel a lot and traveled frequently. And this ended up spanning all demographics. So we did about 20 interviews, and what we found was that our hypothesis was true, and also that people were avoiding tourist activity by what they would describe as wandering. So this would mean that they wouldn't plan anything, they would go out, and they would end up feeling like they had a really unique and personal experience when they would just run into local people, a place that they felt like was off the tourist track, or just like finding a cool activity that most people weren't doing. So we decided that we wanted to channel that sense of experience into our app and have that be how we defined our app.
And so since our customers, basically 201 told us that they wanted to gain a real perspective of the place we were visiting, we set up our app so that it matches each traveler with a local inhabitant of that city who will share with the traveler a little bit about what they're passionate about and what they do in their day-to-day lives. So that can be anything from a cooking class to a little bit more of a walking tour where they show them their favorite places of the local city. And we are starting doing pilot activities in New Haven. We're really excited. Our first one's actually happening tomorrow. It's taught by Liz. She's a really amazing person. She loves New Haven and modernist architecture. And when she talks about her favorite spots, she knows like every little nook and cranny of New Haven. And when she talks about it, like you can just see her face light up. Her excitement for what she loves is palpable, and she really wants to share that with people. So we've designed our app around this experience, which is enabling people to share their passion. So when you visit our website, first you're taken to a page where you can see all of the instructors like Liz. and you can look at the activities that they're offering. And then once you click on an instructor page to find out more information, you're taken to a page, and this has been another one of our local New Haven instructors, and you get to see their story. So that tells about who they are, what they like about the place they live, and what they want to share. And then you can see more information about the activity, what you'll actually be doing. And it's really important to us that this be meaningful both to the instructor, where they get to share what their life is actually like, to someone who might just be a tourist, and the person who's traveling isn't just a tourist. They want something. They want to connect with people. They want to connect with the place. So we personally vet all of our instructors, and we also have implemented a reviews feature in our app so that users who've done the previous activity can review it and share and help allow people to choose the activities that best fit what they're looking for. And so we've begun transitioning Wanderlocal from a project into an actual startup. So the activity fees are going to range from about $20 to $100 depending on the location of the activity, the duration, what the activity is, and we plan to take a 10 to 15% cut of the activity fee.
So now I'm going to take you through our website and give you a little bit of an explanation about the technology that we used. As John was saying earlier, our entire website is built in Ruby on Rails, which is the main language that we learned. We really liked Ruby because we felt that it was easy to learn and it has a lot of built-in features that makes it really easy to implement. Our first page is made using a JavaScript plugin called FullPage.js, which divides each page into multiple segments. So as you can see, our front page, it basically has 3 pages combined into it. FullPage.js is a really new plugin, so by using it, we got a lot of experience debugging and working with code that hasn't gotten fully worked out yet. This was really fun for us as we got to actually edit the code that was being produced as we were working on it. So first, we'll go to our Discover Activities page, which will give us a list of all of our instructors, their activities, and a picture of them. This demonstrates one of the really important features of our app called models. A model is essentially a table that stores information and organizes that information. Each table can be related to other tables, and a way that that's demonstrated here is through our filter function. So each activity was organized by its category. So let's say I wanted to do an activity that was outdoors. I could click on that, and it would give me all of the activities and a picture from that activity related to the outdoors. So if we click on one of the activities, we can see the individual instructor page, which gives us the instructor, their story, why they love where they're from, their activity, a description about the activity, and the reviews and the scheduling. If we click on the schedule button, we can see the form that the user would fill out, and it would give you possible start times and end times when you would want to do that activity, and it will automatically send us an email so we can organize your times with the availability of the instructor and set up that activity for you. Now, if we go back to our front page, we can look at the other side of our application and what it looks like to apply as a local instructor. So this is yet another form that saves to a different model. And here we can really highlight one of our favorite parts about Ruby called a gem. A gem is a condensed piece of code, usually focusing on something that's a little bit more complex that the average coder wouldn't want to code on their own. So we used that to have an upload file section on our application because we wanted our instructors to be able to upload a photo of them doing the activity that they love to do. So instead of us trying to figure out the logic for how to upload a file and present that on our page, we just downloaded the gem, and that did that for us, and all we had to do was pick up the picture from our database and post it on our website. And Ellis is now going to talk a little bit more about how we organized our models.
So like Zoe mentioned, models are a very central feature of our application, and this actually is our model diagram of how our models connect. As you can see, we ended up having 9 separate models with all various relationships, and this ended up being the most challenging feature for us to code. And a diagram like this one was very helpful for us because when we have multiple forms that have to save information to multiple different models within the same form, we were able to look back at this and figure out what needed to go where and how we needed to connect all the information.
And even though there were a lot of hard parts about this project, so as Ellis mentioned, models, and as Zoe mentioned, FullPage.js, we had a lot of fun, and it was really empowering to be able to build what we built after only having coded for about 4 weeks, and then be able to spend 3 weeks and create a minimum viable product. So we actually want to continue this project and keep working on it. We're planning to, in the fall, just keep testing it in New Haven, get more users, both on the instructor side and on the visitor side, and then take the feedback that they give us and incorporate it into the features of our app. And then we're hoping to test it somewhere with a little bit more tourist traffic, so that could possibly be New York. And I think our ultimate vision for where to take this startup is to have people be doing these activities and be really excited about them and leave feeling like they've experienced something that they wouldn't have otherwise experienced in a place. So we think this is very ambitious, but we're really excited to keep doing it. And like I said, we're leading our first activity tomorrow. So if anybody wants to come test it or test throughout any of the process, you should let us know after this, or you can contact us. So thank you.
So we're getting set up here. Again, I just want to reiterate, I'm really excited to see where Wanderlocal takes their product and their startup. Up next, we have All Aboard. This is Niels, and his partner, Alina Nevins, unfortunately couldn't be here, but she's part of Yale staff. And so what was interesting about their group is that they have a captive audience. They have users who have to use their product. And this is part of staff, and Niels will tell you more about this, but I was really impressed with Niels because I had certain standards and certain expectations when I would give problems as part of our program, and he would always exceed them. He would always incorporate everything we learned up until that moment into everything that he did. And so he was very passionate about solving problems and fully understanding everything, and hopefully you'll see that today in the demo.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Niels, and I'm here to talk to you about All Aboard. All Aboard supports, motivates, and recognizes users working on long-term projects. Specifically, it's a platform for the staff of the Center of Teaching and Learning at Yale, who are leading a 2-year transition to new classroom management software.
Keep going.
I graduated from Purdue University in May of this year with a degree in political science with a focus on public policy and public administration. I was very interested in this product because for me, one of the most important things about government is it's assisting people that need the assistance. And oftentimes that task goes unrecognized and unnoticed. So this task of recognizing and motivating people was very important to me. While I worked on both sections of our product, front and back end, most of my work was spent on the back end and fixing the nuts and bolts of the problem. My partner, this is Ellis from Wanderlocal. She's here to help me drive my demo today. My partner, Alina Nevins, unfortunately can't be here today, but we've recorded a video for her to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Alina Nevins, and I work for the Center for Teaching and Learning at Yale University. I chose to work on this project because I'm very interested in using game mechanics to motivate people. We built this site using Ruby on Rails, and I work primarily on the front end, using Parallax for the landing page, and Skeleton and Bootstrap throughout.
The Center of Teaching and Learning at Yale was established in 2014, and it serves to assist faculty with their goals and products in developing their educational services. Course management software, like Blackboard or Moodle, is a product which delivers a comprehensive way for faculty and professors to communicate with their students and to provide things like quizzes, syllabi, readings, and discussions. Our product?
Mirror this screen, sorry. All right, You can keep going. I'll try.
Our product is large in scale, and it covers roughly 2 years and roughly 6,000 course migrations. So keeping sight of the big picture is one of our biggest problems. For a user who's working on the product, it's often very difficult to see where you stand in the grand scheme of things, and you can lose motivation as your individual accomplishment gets lost in the grand scheme. What we needed to do was create 2 different ways for our users to meet. For admins, we needed to consolidate the big picture so that they could see what's really going on and how the progress is coming. And for the user, we needed to make them feel motivated and encourage them in their work. We think we've done this, and what we've done is work to create a badging system, and that's the main core identity of our solution. What it does is it recognizes the accomplishments of a user and lets us track how that progress has come throughout the whole product.
Somehow it's not mirroring it. How do you do it? Sorry.
All right.
It just needs to be mirrored, the screen.
1 second with the technical difficulties. Something to notice is that Niels chooses to use Ubuntu, which is a Linux variation. It's a very customizable OS. You can do all sorts of stuff to it. But also, it's unfamiliar to most of us non-Uber hackers. So we're trying to figure out how to mirror this.
There you go, mirror displays. Okay. Good.
We're almost there. Thanks for bearing with us.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a walk through All Aboard. The first thing we're going to do is create a user account. We use the devise gem from Ruby to authenticate and manage our users and to protect their information, such as passwords, through encryption. Alice is going to go ahead and create a new signup, and this will store things like her name, her email, for use later throughout the program. Since Alice clicked on all badges on our homepage, we've now ended up on our badge page. This is where you get to see all the badges that you've acquired and that you can acquire. If we go ahead and hover over one of them, we can see a progress bar here. And since we've done no progress so far, it's empty. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make some entries. So here we can see a list of all our faculty in our program. This is important because as we add new faculty, they'll be added into our database, and they'll allow us to use them for auto-completion later. Alice is going to pick a faculty member who does not exist yet. So we see that there's no autofilling going on. It tried to fill out John, because there's already a John in there, but there was no John Cadango, so it failed. Now we can go back and look at our faculty page, and we'll see that John Cadango has been added as a faculty member. If we return and make another consultation, we'll see that John Cadango is now an option when we autofill. This is accomplished through JavaScript, which reads the values of our faculty and fills them in for the user. We can also go and look at all of the consultations we've made, and we can edit them. We've implemented fail-safes so that you can't accidentally delete programs or information that you want to save, and so that's been very useful for us. Let's go ahead now and make a new documentation. One of the exciting features on this site is the way we track our audiences. We can select many audiences, and we can even put our own in case it's not already an option. And when we go back later, after creating these audiences, it'll still remember what was selected and what was new and what was other. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our badges and see how we've progressed. We've created documentation and we've created consults, and we can see that our progress is filled. If we go and look at it further along, we can see that our progress dynamically fills, and if we hover over the progress bar, It'll show us our current progress and how many we need to achieve that badge. Our final part of our display is going to be our dashboard. Our dashboard is mostly for our administrators, so that they can generate the data that they need to track the entire progress of the product. The dashboard was created using ReactJS, and so it will generate the tables for our products dynamically. If we click around to a couple other ones, we can see that they all fill out with unique data and information. If we click on badges, we can see how many of our users, can you go back? Yeah. If we click on badges, we can see how many users have achieved each badge, and we can see a grander picture of how the progress is going along. If we sign out, we'll be returned to our homepage, and we can sign in as a new user. Thank you, Ellis. We encountered several challenges when creating this product. One of the main ones was our autocomplete function, and we needed to use JavaScript to dynamically create a list of available faculty so that we could fill out the data for the user. And that was a real challenge as when we were implementing it, we were just starting to use JavaScript, and it was a learning experience the whole time. The second one was propagating our badge data throughout the program. Most of our badge data is contained within a gem called Merit, and it stores most of its data in separate modules throughout the Rails application. So we created hashes or dictionaries of data so that we could transmit this data throughout the application to where it was needed and pull it out quickly and efficiently. The third challenge was our React component, the admin dashboard. For me, this was a big challenge because I was learning and navigating how to get JavaScript and Ruby to communicate together and to dynamically get everything that we needed. In the future, we have a long list of functionality to employ. The first of that is unlockable content so that we can reward users as they accomplish tasks. The second is the ability to cheer on colleagues so that we can get encouragement from our coworkers. The next is a newsfeed of recent badges that I've earned so you can see where other people are in their progress. Another function is special weekly recognition of team members who are doing particularly well, and weekly events that will help focus users on the tasks that need to be accomplished at this time. Additionally, points will be associated with tasks so we can see leaderboards and display the top scores in various categories. We would also like to output data to files or CSVs so that managers can take the data generated by our application and use it in other ways. Finally, we would like a visualized completion component for our manager so we can see how much of the total progress has been accomplished. We think there's a lot left to do, and it's just the beginning. We think this application can be applied to lots of long-term projects and assisting people keep sight of the big picture. If you're interested in hearing more about the product, please email me at my email above. Thank you so much.
Microphone?
I'm loud enough that I don't need one.
All right. Thank you, Niels, for that. As you can tell, there are risks and rewards to doing live demos, but I think the rewards outweigh the risks, and I'm really impressed by these apps. Once again, this is an 8-week course, and from start to finish, we have each group creating full-stack web applications. Our next group up here is Fantasy Reality. And in the beginning, they had a little bit of a snag in figuring out what idea they wanted to do. So they spent some time interviewing customers and trying to find a compelling idea to both work on. But once they finally did, they rallied and they worked really hard, and they got to the point where they are today, which is a pretty compelling, fun MVP. So here is Fantasy Reality.
I think
we overheated the lectern. It's freaking out now. Yeah.
Did you try this one?
No.
Yeah, should
Should we just try that one?
Yes.
So mirror, yeah. Good.
You good?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Bonnie Ree. I am a rising junior at Yale College studying computing and the arts. For fantasy reality, I focus mostly on the front end, meaning I focus on the design, how all the web pages flow together. And I chose this project because I really wanted to see how more complex technologies would fit into an online game.
And I'm Yahya. I'm also a rising junior at Yale College. I'm majoring in computer science. I'm really interested in algorithm complexity, which is why I chose to work in the back end of fantasy reality.
So, in 2016, 114.4 million people tuned in to watch the Super Bowl. Of those 114 million, it was estimated that 74.7 million would play fantasy football, and they were estimated to spend $4.6 billion on this social activity. What you may not realize, however, there's a similarly sized market without such a social platform, and that's reality TV. In 2016, 110 people tuned in to watch just the top 5 finales of the top 5 reality TV shows. When we interviewed customers and had a conversation with reality TV show consumers, we learned that they already ran informal games similar to fantasy football, but for their favorite reality TV shows, and they ran them on slips of paper. The problem was that they were really frustrated by the lack of a formal online platform where they could expand their social networks, not just their friends that they already knew, liked watching The Bachelorette and keeping up with the Kardashians, but also people around the nation that they could connect with, and they could expand their social base. We realized that there was this huge customer group whose needs were being completely ignored, and that inspired the idea of fantasy reality, which is a new way for people to bond and socialize with their friends.
So before we go ahead and take a live demo of fantasy reality, we are going to go ahead and explain the rules behind our game. So the first step is that you will create a user account, and then you will be prompted to a page where you will create your cast. So here you will have access to all the stars in our database. It's important to know that this is the most important stage in the game because whatever team you pick, you're going to be sticking with it for the whole round. So you have to choose wisely. After you choose your cast, you're going to be prompted to a page where you can join a league. In the league, players will compete with each other. There will be a leaderboard, and it will be decided who's the best person at guessing how stars are going to do in the future. After you join a league, you're going to be matched with a player. There are going to be several rounds. Every round you're going to be matched with a new player. And based on how well you do, you're going to gain points. And at the end of the season, the player with the most points wins. So we're going to go ahead and create a user for me because I don't have a user yet.
It's loading. It's still loading. Okay, there we go.
So we're going to go ahead and put our first name, our last name, our username, which you should pick wisely as well because you're going to be sticking with that username and it's going to be displayed in the leaderboard.
Oh, oops. Thank you. That would be bad.
All right, so here we are going to give our team a name. So we're going to go ahead and call it the Awesome Team. Team Awesome, sure. And this is the cast page we were talking about. So these are all the stars we currently have. And this is where we choose the team. And given the fact that the Kardashians has been really hot topic lately, I'm going to go ahead and pick 3 of the Kardashians. I'm going to go ahead and pick Kim and Khloe Kardashian and maybe Kanye West. We also have stars from The Bachelorette, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Jojo Fletcher because the finale is about to come and she's probably going to be disputed a lot over the internet. And then we can go with Caitlyn Jenner, who's also popular. So it's important to notice before we proceed that our scoring algorithm does not only take into account how well the star shows are doing, but also how well the stars are doing on their own, in their own personal lives. So you do not only choose the actors based on how well they're doing in their shows, but how popular they are, or how you predict their popularity is going to raise or fall in the future. So now we've joined a league, so we have a public league where all the players compete. And we also have the option of creating a private league to share with friends and family, but we're going to go ahead and join the public league right here. Great, so I got matched with Joan. So first of all, we're gonna test the hypothesis that we had initially. Are the Kardashians gonna have a high score or not? So we can go ahead and see the score of Kim Kardashian. So she had a score of 103. That's a really high score. So our hypothesis proved true. So let's go ahead and see if JoJo Fletcher has a high score. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. She has 17, which is probably because Keeping Up with the Kardashians is a much popular show than The Bachelorette. So we're gonna go ahead. So apparently my opponent also had almost a similar strategy. He picked Kanye West and Chloe. So let's scroll down and see who won. So I won. That's great. Apparently I'm the better one at predicting how stars are going to do in the future. But that does not necessarily mean that I'm the best player at the league. So we can go to the leaderboard and see what my rank is. So I'm ranked number 4. And number 1 being Gribs, who's apparently the best player at predicting how stars are going to do in the future. And that's fantasy reality.
So in order to build our app, we use Ruby on Rails, which is a Ruby framework that makes building websites really easy. And in order to make everything really beautiful, we use Bootstrap, which is a front-end framework that provides ready-to-use components to make it so it's a lot easier to build a really beautiful website quickly. We tailored each and every component using Haml and Sass so that makes writing HTML and CSS more efficient, and made our website interactive using JavaScript and jQuery. In order to make sure that every user was unique and no one would be able to hack into your account and be like, I want you to fail. We use a gem called Devise, which basically is a really popular Ruby user authentication gem. The most important thing, however, are the 2 APIs that we use to give points to everyone. The first one is TMDB, which stands for the movie database. And the second is Alchemy Data News from IBM.
So the biggest challenge, in our opinion, when it comes to developing an entertainment platform is making sure that the gaming elements are challenging and fun, which is why creating an accurate scoring algorithm was our biggest challenge. Initially, we thought that our first API, TMDB, was going to be sufficient. TMDB, as Bonnie said, stands for the movie database. The way it works is that it queries IMDb. In case anyone doesn't know what IMDb is, it's a website that has a lot of relevant information about shows and movies all over the world. So it provides us with information that we use in our algorithm to determine which show is doing better than the other. Unfortunately, because of the nature of reality TV and how often stars come and go, TMDB did not provide us with the cast information that we wanted. So the way we overcame this hurdle was we navigated IMDb manually, seeded our own database with the most up-to-date cast information so that our scoring algorithm is as accurate as can be. So right here is an example of how TMDB works, our first API. So the way it works is that it queries IMDb and sends us a request, and then it brings us back something like this. So it brings us back a page in a JSON format. JSON format is basically a data format that is both easy for humans to read and easy for machines to parse. So as you can see right here, there are variables such as popularity of the show. This is Keeping Up with the Kardashians. There's a poster path. And that's how we use TMDB.
So our second API is Alchemy Data News from IBM, and this uses IBM Watson's natural language processing technology. So it parses through multiple news articles. I think it's somewhere from 250,000 to 500,000 English language news and blogs, and it searches all those articles that are posted within a set time frame and returns the information that we requested. This was perfect for us because the language processing technology is able to perform sentiment analysis. So basically, it was able to determine whether the text it was analyzing had a positive or negative tone. So we were able to punish users who had chosen the star that was really popular, but kept getting a lot of bad press and bad news, while awarding those who chose stars with continually good press. This added another element because now this meant that when users were choosing a team, they would no longer be able to just choose a star who was super popular and had a very famous show. It also incorporated you thinking about whether they're going to bring in bad press and bring down the total points for your team. So this is an example query of what you pass in. So here we're asking them to give us, to count the number of news articles that have a positive sentiment about Kim Kardashian, and all of those that were posted within the past 24 hours. And here is what it returns, and it told us, okay, in the last 24 hours, there were 36 positive articles about Kim Kardashian. So now that we have made our website live, we have an MVP, we have invited all the people that we interviewed for customer interviews to come and play it. And so where we're going from here is that we're waiting for people to play it like often enough and within like a 2-week time period so that we can have a whole round to play it and let us know what they think and give us feedback so we can make it the best user experience possible.
If you're interested in playing fantasy reality yourself, you can go to actually there's no officialfantasyreality.herokuapp.com. If you have any questions about fantasy reality or about the development process, you can email us at our emails up there. It's firstname.lastname@yale.edu. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation, and I hope you enjoy our game.
So as you guys can see, I'm John Cadango, if you remember, and I was last on the leaderboard. I'm pretty terrible at fantasy reality. But it was really fun, even though I lost. So I'd recommend that you guys do this. So that's fantasy reality. Up next, we have TeachHaven. TeachHaven has a unique story, but one of the greatest things about TeachHaven is that they did a ton of customer interviews, and they found that just about every person that they interviewed really wants this to exist. And so I have full confidence that TeachHaven will carry this out and continue this project and really help teachers. So this is TeachHaven.
No, we're going to use the Google Doc. Yep.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our CodeSail Demo Day. This is our final project, TeachHaven, and I'm Dana.
I'm Skylar.
And I'm Amelia.
There is a serious crisis in American education right now. 1 in 10 new teachers quits within the first year. 1 in 10 in the first year. Fast forward 4 more years, and half of teachers are gone from their original classroom. We can do much better for our teachers, and especially our students, but this also has financial ramifications as well. Teacher turnover costs school districts $7 billion annually. And this is not a problem that's getting any better either. Interest in the teaching profession is lower than it's been in half a century.
We set out to learn why. After interviewing over 30 people in the industry, including school administrators from many different districts, charter schools, and Teach for America, as well as school psychologists and teachers both new and experienced, we found that teacher burnout is a major cause of attrition in the profession. Current school systems are not solving this problem either. School administrators explained that their focus is primarily on teacher instruction, and that teachers would also benefit from structured mental health. School psychologists told us that teachers are in need for mental health resources are currently going towards students. Both experienced and new teachers alike emphasize that their emotional concerns related to teaching often fly under the radar of administration. Not only that, teachers are uncomfortable reaching out to administration about these issues, especially in underserved schools and communities. So we found that teacher burnout is an issue that we need to address.
So this past winter, I was talking with Lizzie Carroll, who is my advisor and the director of the Yale Education Studies program, and also right here, and we were talking about her experiences in education, including as a high school teacher. And one thing that kept coming up was how unsupported and disconnected teachers are, oftentimes even within the same building. And under the mentorship of Rick Hunt at YEI, who's also here, we started talking to teachers to find out, like Amelia said, what we could do to help. And we kept hearing 3 different methods to do this. First, to connect teachers to their peers, to talk about the things that they're going through, to connect them with mental health professionals, and lastly, to connect them with research-based resources for them to be able to learn more and help themselves. These were our goals. And with input from teachers, we decided that a web-based platform would be the best way of delivering these. And so to make this, I enrolled in CodeSail. And so I entered the program as a recent Yale grad, statistics major and education studies scholar with extensive experience in kinetic education. And so I made TeachHaven my final project with the help of these 2 talented individuals.
So once again, I'm Dana, and I also came to CodeSail with little to no coding experience at all. And I'm a rising sophomore at Williams College, and I hope to major in bio or psychology. So for our final project, I was really interested in connecting the aspects of the medical field, which is what I hope to major in or pursue, and connect that with web development and other professions. So when I heard about Skylar's project and the idea of TeachHaven, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to do that and to work on our skills.
Yeah, and my name's Amelia again. I graduated from Yale in 2013 with a degree in psychology, and I came into CodeSail with no coding experience, hoping to actually work on a different project that I had in mind, but when Skylar kind of presented his idea for TeachHaven, I knew that's what I wanted to work on. So I'm a firm proponent of ubiquitous mental health care, and I saw that TeachHaven could fill that space that is currently leaving teachers, especially from underserved schools, without mental health resources, and we're hoping to change that.
So now we're going to show you a live demo of our app. So this is our homepage here, and our app was built, or our web application was built using 3 different Ruby on Rails apps. So first we'll have Amelia sign in, and our sign-in system is made using a Ruby on Rails app called Devise, and Devise allows us to authenticate users and keep all our user information secure and confidential. So try sign in.
Yeah, I don't think it's logged in. There we go.
Okay, so here we go. This is a user homepage, and the user homepage here shows all the recent activity that the user has done. You can see the recently posted blogs, the recently posted forums, and the comments that you've made, and the comments in the blog posts that you have. So now we can look at all the blog posts. So all the blogs here, the users can see who have posted them, and would be by us, because all the blog content is curated by us. We'll have professionals, administrators, and selected experienced teachers write the posts, and we'll post them based on different issues or content that teachers would want to see. So these blogs allow teachers to read and connect with professional support and comment and talk to each other. So we can see here, this is a blog post actually written by Lizzie Carroll, and an extensive post on how TeachHaven started. And we can comment below, and teachers can talk to each other. And this comment system was made using React, which allows comments to be added without refreshing the whole page. So the next part of our web app is the fact sheets part. So this is also a separate Ruby on Rails app. And so this page here shows all the categories for the different fact sheets. Teachers we interviewed told us these are the categories and fact sheets that they would want to see information about. So for example, if I was a teacher and I wanted to see information about legal challenges I might see with my students or in the classroom, I would click on that category and be brought to this page that have specific fact sheets about different legal challenges. And for example, if I had a student with immigration problems, I would be brought to this fact sheet that shows, first you would see an overview of the topic, and then you would see the research and action steps that you could take as a teacher, and the links. There are links throughout this whole sheet that would allow teachers to have to research further information if they would want to get more information. And also, finally, we have providers, which are local professional resources for teachers that for teachers to reach out to. And right now we only have local providers in Connecticut because we hope to pilot with teachers in Connecticut, but as we expand, we'll have private providers for all over the US. So, and finally, our final aspect of our web app is the forums page. So forums was made using Discourse, which is an open source Ruby on Rails app that allowed us to install the functions of a forum pretty easily and focus on CSS or design and content. So as you can see here, there are different categories for forums. So if we clicked on student behavior, we can see that there are a bunch of threads and questions that teachers have asked and answers to that teachers would be able to communicate with each other and answer the questions and just talk about their troubling day or if they're having trouble with a student. And you can favorite different forums or favorite different comments and receive also notifications through email when there's been an update or a new forum that you might be interested in. So, yep, and that's our app.
Great. So what we hope to do, our next steps is basically get this app in front of teachers. We need to get feedback directly from teachers, see how it is that teachers are using this app, which of the features they're using the most, and develop those out. So we hope to refine the app design and functionality through those interviews and also use Google Analytics to track site traffic and see what features are being used. Once we have that set, we hope to pilot TeachHaven with local teachers, first possibly starting with TFA Connecticut and then moving to other states all across the country.
So that's where we're at right now. Like Amelia said, we are very confident in the content and the design of this site, and that it really serves a function that teachers and administrators alike have said that they really needed. And at this point, we're looking for teachers. So if you are a teacher or you know a teacher that would be interested in getting involved with our project, please let us know, because we're looking to refine the design of the site, add content, and just the user experience. And so we're looking for any teacher help we can get to take TeachHaven from CodeSail to Connecticut to all across the country. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes our demos. I hope you agree with me that they were pretty cool. I think it blows my mind that 8 weeks ago, many of these students had never programmed before in their life, and today they're creating full stack web applications that actually work and are actually on the web, and you can go use them yourself as well. So we just want to, congratulate all our students for this major accomplishment, and we actually have certificates that we're going to present them in honor of their completion of the course. So we're going to ask each one to come up and present them with a certificate, and then we'll hold our applause until the end. But first, Bonnie Ree. We're holding applause.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, congratulations. Dana Chung. Yay. I feel like we should clap, but yeah.
We will clap.
Congrats. All right, Ellis Burgoon Miskell. Congratulations. Amelia Sesko. Congratulations. Niels Gribskov. Sharon Welch. Skylar Shibayama. Congrats. Yahya Saleh. Congrats. And Zoe Henry. I know I speak for John when I say that we really feel like we lucked out with the group of students that we had for the first ever CodeSail cohort. They were really amazing. We were really excited to come to class every day and see them and hear about their passion and their excitement and their dedication for learning to program and learning to build things that were going to have a real impact and change the world. So we're leaving equally inspired. We hope you guys are leaving that way as well. We're going to have some coffee, cookies, and we have a special cake to congratulate the CodeSailers. So we hope you'll join for that, and you'll have a chance to ask them any questions. So please take some time to meet the teams from today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.